Okay, in the last video I showed you how to create a boolean and then also how to modify it a bit by using your outliner. So you do have a challenge coming up before you actually get into your assignment of building a room. So let's try our hand at that. Let's try a wine glass here. I'm going to drop in a cone. And then you can use your attribute editor to create a duplicate of this, or even just rotate it upright so that it could look more like a wine glass, essentially here. Let's rotate that up 180 degrees, and let's do a Shift D for a special duplication there, and I'm going to move that up. Now, another thing that I wanted to point out here is that sometimes you need to work in world space or object space rather than world space. And we haven't run into that problem yet, but I know we will, and I'll point that out. If for some reason things aren't moving in the direction that you want them to, then you need to switch between world space and object space. By clicking on your Move tool over here, double-clicking rapidly twice, you can actually go to your Move settings. So here we are in object space. If I were to switch over to world space and say I wanted to maybe move that up or down and it's not moving correctly, then you need to go over to object space. So just a fair warning there that if things aren't moving the way you want them to, whether in the Z, Y, or X axis, then try changing the axis orientation by double-clicking on your Move tool over here. And you could do the same for rotate. So if you click there, you can see that I'm in my object mode. And then scale as well. So object. I'm currently in all my object modes there. Okay, with that said, let's make a wine glass. So I'm going to use a really good advice for you is to definitely use reference. So you want to be either looking at a picture or you have a physical wine glass in front of you, that's fine. Martini glass, whatever it may be. You can definitely Google images as well so that you see what kind of primitives to use to create that one object. Even if you're looking around your room right now, if you see something, perhaps your TV, what is that comprised of? What primitive tools are comprised of that? So look around your room and see what you see and try to look at an object in primitives. In other words, what primitives is that comprised of? What primitives can I use to model that, to illustrate that? Okay, so right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in a stem for this. And I could always, click and drag. And let's make this a little bit bigger. So I'm going to go ahead and increase the size there. And then I'm going to decrease the size of this. And I'll increase that as well. Make it larger. There, the stem of the wine glass. And again, leaving this when you're modeling into your 0, 0 coordinates because everything will drop into that coordinate, so it'll line up. Nothing's going to be separated, and you could definitely do it that way as far as making sure that everything is connected. So when you're modeling, it's really important for things to be lined up and connected. So I'm going to go over to my attribute editor here, and I'm going to scale this down just a little bit as well. So I'm just gonna, okay, I'll do it from here for now. I'm gonna make that thinner in the radius part of it. that up. All right. And finally, I'm going to use a sphere and for my base of that. I'm going to make that a little bit larger. And then I'm going to squish that down. So let's use that. And again, you know, use your imagination. Right now, I'm kind of just in this up. Sometimes even another one of these for the bottom might work better. Let's try that. There we go. I will squish that, make that larger. That's a little bit better. You have to really think about what is comprising that for me. So here I'm going to just cut the top boolean. I didn't really have to do any booleans down here, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to just click on what I want to cut into. Remember, that needs to be selected first. And then shift click what you want to cut with. Going up to mesh. And remember, I'm in my modeling tool set, booleans, and then difference. And there you go. I've created a nice little boolean wine glass.